Good Friday evening to you. Hope your weekend is off to a good start. Welcome to More Sports and Less Levine, the Weekend Winners Edition. I'm Dave Bacon. We have a jam-packed show for you today. We've got some Indians getting ready for a big three-game series against the Twins. We'll also talk some Browns with Jake Burns from the Orange and Brown Report and here at cleveland.com. Skill position players and some news with Duke Johnson switching agents. But we begin tonight with some more serious news with the Cleveland Indians. Carlos Carrasco confirmed recently what we pretty much expected. He's being treated for leukemia. Carrasco hasn't pitched since back on May 30th, and Carlos wants to keep his exact treatment for the leukemia private, and we will respect those wishes. Carlos has progressed in his treatment to the point where he has been throwing bullpens recently, which is a really good sign. The Indians and Carlos aren't sure if he'll be able to pitch again this season, but one thing is certain, Carlos Carrasco appreciates the support that he has received from his teammates, the organization, the Cleveland fans, and especially during the Stand Up to Cancer segment at the All-Star game at Progressive Field.
That just blow you away?
Yes, it was great. Even that I have my teammates in there. Tito was there too. Another guy from another team. It was a great moment for me. I really enjoyed that.
What has it been like to have the support of your teammates and Tito just throughout this entire process?
Even great. Even my wife, my kids, my family, teammates, Tito, office, staff, the fans, even great. They always, get me bad, let me explain, they always support me anyway, on the field, off the field. It's been great.
Carlos, does it make things a little bit easier that you're being allowed to pitch, that you can still have some normalcy while you're going through this, that you can throw the ball and be around your teammates, et cetera?
I've been throwing the ball normal, and I'm glad that I've been around with my teammates. Every time when I come in here to the stadium, it's a feel like home. My teammates, just every time when I get here, they hug me, they ask me how I feel, and it feels great to have that support from everyone.
Carlos, you made a point to go visit pediatric cancer patients. What was that? How did that impact you, and how has that affected you?
You know what, I think it's great just to go there and visit those kids, to have a different day. You don't want to spend a lot of time in the hospital, I'm pretty sure those kids, they spend a lot of time there just to go there and have some fun and just think about some different stuff, just talk to them about baseball. I think that's great. It's something that I love to do, that I've been doing for the last maybe 4 or 5 years too. Not now, but I think the more important, just go there to have those smiles from those kids. It made me happy.
Carlos, do you think you'll be able to pitch again this season?
Man, I don't know. I just gonna take day by day. I don't know. I don't have the answer, but I'm glad to be here around my teammates, just coming here and practice.
When you throw bullpen sessions, though, you feel the same? Your velocity, everything's the same?
I feel great. There's nothing different.
When you first found out what was happening, I know some of your teammates helped you and maybe just gave you advice or something. Just what did that mean to you, and what did they tell you at the beginning?
You know what? They been respect. They respect what happened, and like you said, when they find out, they've been acting like the same teammates before. There's nothing different. I think everyone is getting more stronger than ever. Then I feel, thankful to have those teammates behind me. I'm pretty sure it's a lot of more people, the fans and my family too. But I'm really happy.
Carlos, when did you feel that something just wasn't right as the season started going?
In spring training, That's what happened. When we did the physical, that's it. That's it.
Are you getting any kind of treatment now, Carlos? Or what kind of treatment do you have to get?
You know what, man? Thank you for that, but I just want you to, respect that. I just pretty much my privacy. I don't want to talk about that, man. Thanks.
Carlos, are you limited at all in terms of your physical activity though right now?
No. I've been working like normal. I never put anything bad on my mind. Everything's good. So I don't feel different. I just push myself to work more and get it, and getting stronger.
Was there, I know in your video you released, you kind of said, how can a baseball, like a guy physically fit, I mean, in great shape, something like this can happen to you? And I wondered, have you ever asked yourself, why me?
No. I'm not that kind of person. If it's happening, for a reason, I cannot control that.
And when did you, what, did you feel that there was, like during the season and a series of starts, you weren't feeling as strong as normal? Is that when you knew something may be wrong?
Man, to be honest with you, I didn't feel that way. Like, the difference was the blast, that's it. Every time when they did the test in the spring training and all that. But I always feel stronger. I never feel any difference.
And I ran to him in the hallway, and I already knew what we were going to do. And it was pretty emotional already. And then, that to me is a really powerful moment in the game when you see, 50,000 people or whatever, and the commissioner and the people in the press box and the umpires, and then when they did that thing at the end for Cookie, holy smokes, when you talk about putting an exclamation point on it, it just was incredible.
I know it's delicate, so what is your guys' plan with him just on the field? Is he throwing the bullpens there?
He's been throwing bullpens. He's been going down to Lake County the last couple days just because so much is going on here. But he's been throwing pens. There isn't a plan, and I don't mean that like we don't care, but the idea is for him to do as much as he can, or as much as he can tolerate, because it'll be good for him. Other than that, we're not pushing one, but we're just trying to be supportive.
Is outstanding and really cool to see the way his teammates respond to him and the way the organization has responded to Carlos Carrasco. Certainly our thoughts and prayers are with him as he tries to recover from leukemia. We're going to step aside, take a quick time out. When we return, we'll head to the field and talk about the Indians Twins series, the start of a Big 10-game homestand with 3 against the team they're chasing in the AL Central. More sports and Les Levine, the Weekend Winners Edition. We'll be right back.
No other company or product can match the features, benefits, and warranty of an authentic Nature Stone floor.
I had an epoxy-based sand paint on my floor that deteriorated, and that's why I called Nature Stone.
Why paint? It's expensive, it's ugly, and it doesn't last. Nature Stone is always affordable. It's beautiful, and with Russell's Promise, our true unconditional warranty, you will never have to replace your garage floor again. Get Nature Stone installed by the end of July and save up to 50%. It's not just a floor. Wow, it's Nature Stone.
Welcome back to More Sports and Les Levine, the Weekend Winners Edition. I'm Dave Bacon. Well, the Indians begin a 10-game homestand to start the second half with a 3-game set against the Twins in a few minutes over at Progressive Field tonight. Since June 4th, the Indians have a 21-8 record. That's the best winning percentage in all of Major League Baseball during that time. Tribe has cut the Twins lead, the team they're playing tonight, all the way down to 5.5 games. The good news is they start Mike Clevenger tonight. Clevenger, who spent a significant portion of time on the injured list earlier this season, is finally starting to feel regular and good, like the normal Mike Clevenger. Tonight should have a playoff-type atmosphere with Mike Clevenger on the mound.
No, I'm finally starting to feel like 100%. Finally starting to feel like me again and, really just spinning the ball like I know I can do.
How anxious are you to get back on the mound given that?
Yeah, no, that's what I mean. We all kind of talked about. We all kind of didn't want a break because we were kind of rolling at the time. But, it's time to just rebuild the momentum now.
How important is it to take it for what it is? I mean, it's important, but you don't want to make it the beginning and the end. We're still, 85 games after it or whatever.
Yeah, man, you're still going to put I hope we're putting that same amount of weight on every game anytime we're behind. And I think that was part of the, talk Tito had. And it's, every game has its own importance, We're behind right now, so you have to take every inning seriously.
Yeah, we're in a good spot. The team is playing well. We got a great team chemistry, and we all backing each other up, no matter what happens. And at the end of the day, we just got to enjoy the game, play the game the right way.
Not a hit since June 4th to be 21-8. What changed leading up to the All-Star break, do you think, from earlier?
We believe in each other. We support each other. We continue to pass the baton. Nobody's putting pressure to do it themselves, and that's all we've been doing. I didn't even know we were 21-8, so thank you.
21-4.
Yeah, 21-4.
Yeah.
Well, if we win, we'll keep it going. If we lose, we won't. We actually talked about that at the end. Told them, so I want you guys to get away from the game because I think they need to. I think they need to get away. It's good for them. But you don't want to get away so much that when you come back, you play that first game and then your body's sore and, it's like you kind of waste the getting away part. So that's why we have a optional workout. But I don't know, I haven't checked, but I bet you most of the guys are here. And we'll have a real light workout just to kind of shake off the rust and get the blood flowing because we've all seen it. After a few days off, guys can be lethargic for a day, trying to walk a fine line of letting them have rest but not be rusty. And that's always a fine line. The Twins will get our attention, though. I mean, it's not like we're going to, we know how good they are. Those will be fun games to play.
Yeah, we dug ourselves a pretty big hole early, but we started digging out of it at the end of the first half, and I think we were playing with a lot of emotion, a lot of confidence, and we were playing the right brand of baseball and the brand of baseball that we want to play. So I think we'll pick it right back up going in the second half, and it's going to be exciting.
How exciting is it to start against the Twins? And how important is it to keep it in perspective of what it is?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not the beginning and the end. It's three big games.
Yeah, it's three really big games. I think it's nice to. This is the first time I'm coming after an All-Star break, but I think it'll be nice to have such a big series right away because we don't have any excuses. We got to get right back into it, and I know guys are getting psyched for it, and we're ready for it.
Fair to say it's a little bit of a playoff atmosphere. Everybody seems to be excited about it. I'm sure you guys took the downtime for the All-Star. You didn't have much downtime for the All-Star game, but.
Yeah, I think so. I think especially with it being the weekend and especially with it coming right after the All-Star break, the city's going to have a little bit more energy. There's going to be a little bit more of a buzz and more of an intensity just knowing how important the series is. So it's definitely going to be exciting. Something I'm looking forward to this weekend.
It's easy to be loose, when we're winning, but we know that we just got to go out there and give it our all every game. We kind of went through a funk earlier, and our ability to come out of it shows a lot about the team and the guys that surround this team. It's a great clubhouse with the presence of some of these guys is amazing. So I think just the way that we play as a team and the team chemistry has been a big help. Yeah.
Oscar, how important is it to I know they're big games, how important is it to just go out and have fun in that series against the Twins? That's what you play for, to play in games like the.
Yeah, no, it's going to be exciting, and however the outcome is, we know we're going to go out there and we're going to compete. And they're going to compete with, it's been a while since they've been in the position that they're in. And, with the team that they have, they feel confident, but we feel confident as well. And we know that it's going to be a dogfight out there.
How nice to see some of the young guys come up and kind of put some energy, put some life into things.
Yeah, I mean, we've been plagued with some pretty good injuries, including myself. And, a lot of them just stepped in pretty seamlessly. That's what me and TV were talking about. I was like, what happened to guys being nervous when they got here? I remember throwing up in the bathroom for 30 minutes, and these dudes aren't even, sweating. I was like, what's changed? But no, that's been huge for us.
Again, Mike Clevenger will get the start against the Twins tonight in the first game of that important 3-game series. We're going to step aside, take a quick timeout. Major League Baseball trading deadline a few weeks away. The Indians could have some help down on the farm. We'll check in on that when more sports and Les Levine, the Weekend Winners Edition, returns.
It takes attention to detail. With your local Bryant dealer, you're getting more than just a technician. You're getting someone who pays attention to your needs and the little things that make a big difference. It takes a dealer you can rely on. And to keep your family cool this summer,
let me show you how this works.
It takes Bryant.
Bryant. Whatever it takes.
And to keep your family comfortable, it takes Smiley One Heating and Cooling. Find them at 440-449-HEAT.
Welcome back to More Sports and Les Levine, the Weekend Winners Edition. I'm Dave Bacon. Without question, the Indians' starting rotation has been beset by injuries. Really, Shane Bieber and Trevor Bauer are the only two guys that haven't missed significant time, and we're only halfway through the season. What I'm getting at, the Indians are due for some good fortune. They can't count on it, but a guy made a start in Akron yesterday, Danny Salazar, and if he could come back, he would go a long way in helping the Indians' starting rotation. Salazar was making his first start since 2017 that was not at the Indians' spring training site in Arizona. He went 2 2/3 innings at Akron for the Rubber Ducks in Double-A, gave up just 1 run, 2 hits, struck out 2, and walked 1. But the best news of all, Danny Salazar's arm felt as good as it has in quite a while.
Good. Glad to be back here in Ohio, glad to be back in the game, working my way to Cleveland slowly, but we're getting there.
How'd the arm feel? The numbers are pretty good, 94 at the top for his fastball and 85, 84 in the breaking ball. How'd the arm feel? Good, really good.
Actually, the main thing for me right now is the way I'm feeling in between innings when I go back out. And it's working really good right now, It's so exciting.
How many times did you pitch in AZ?
I pitched 2 games there after 4 live BP. We're making sure, I was ready after they put me in any roster because, after I get added to a roster, I have 30 days before being in Cleveland.
How'd the fastball feel coming out of your hand tonight?
Good.
Breaking ball, same thing?
Yes. From stretch, still rushing a little bit, but feeling great.
What's next for you just in your rehab? Do you plan on continuing to pitch in the minors?
Yes, I think I have a few more games, We'll be either here in Akron, Lake County, Mahoney Valley or Columbus.
How encouraged are you?
Good.
By how your arm feels and how your command is.
Yes, I'm confident right now. I'm happy. The road has been really long. I was in Arizona for the past 18 months, and being back here in Columbus, in Akron, and feeling the way I'm feeling right now, it gives me a lot of confidence.
You must bring back some good memories being back here, considering how much time you spent in Akron as a minor leaguer, right?
Yes. Actually, it's always fun to come here, You don't want to come here, but once you have to come back, it gives you a lot of memories. When you start reminding things that's living again. So it's always good to be here.
Your body language on the mound was really good. You worked fast. You didn't shake off too many signs. How did it feel to get back out there and this level of competition?
Awesome. Like I said, I was throwing in Arizona like a little light VP before being able to pitch in like any roster. So, and building that confidence, and right now I'm in a good way to make it to Cleveland.
Have you talked with Tito yet about possible timetable for return, or is that still kind of up in the air?
Still kind of timing up to go there. Like I say, after I get out to any roster, I have 30 days before being in Cleveland.
How anxious are you to get back there?
I can't wait.
There was talk when you started on the rehab of possibly a starter track and a reliever track. Have you made any decision or feel either way about that at this point?
I want to be a starter because I've been a starter my whole career. Been in the bullpen 2 times. But right now, I just want to be back in the game. It could be like in the starting rotation or reliever.
And again, I know the Indians can't count on it, but a quick thought. If Danny Salazar gets back to what he could potentially be, adding him to this starting rotation is probably better than adding anybody that you could acquire via trade at the trade deadline. Just a quick thought for Indians fans. We're going to step aside, take a quick timeout. When we get back, Jake Burns will join us, and we will talk Baker Mayfield. Can he be elite? More sports and Les Levine, Weekend Winners Edition. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
There are tastes we remember. Every smell brings the happiness of times gone by. Experience this every time you walk into Gallucci's Italian Foods. Whether you need lunch on the go, a catered party, or that perfect blend of wine, meats, and cheeses, Gallucci's has exactly what you're looking for. Straight from Mama's Kitchen for old world traditions or original experiences. From the tastes you remember to new flavors you'll never forget. Gallucci's is a tasty branch of your family tree.
Welcome back to more sports and Les Levine, the Weekend Winners Edition. I'm Dave Bacon. Browns training camp will start in a couple of weeks out in Berea. When we talk Browns, we welcome in Jake Burns from the Orange and Brown Report, a contributor here on cleveland.com. Jake, some news with the Browns. Duke Johnson, who was involved in that contract dispute, wants to be traded. Went out and got a new agent, and he went out and hired Drew Rosenhaus. Certainly seems like when you go and make a move like that, you're trying to force something.
Yeah, it's not a secret. He's not happy with how he's being treated in Cleveland, and he's not happy with his position with the team. And it was interesting to me that he gave up his bargaining position by showing up to minicamp and being present for that time. But it doesn't necessarily mean his demands have changed. And it looks like he, like you said, Dave, with the hiring of Drew Rosenhaus, who's been a part of, or at least authored many trades in his career, including the recent one there with Emmanuel Agba. He played a part in that one too. It does seem like he wants to force the hand of the Browns to make some sort of deal happen. Now, whether that happens is, it remains to be seen. I still don't think the Browns are going to back off of the value that they think he's worth and what he think he can be for the first 8 weeks of the season. But it does at least point in the trending direction that there is no repairing this relationship.
And when you look at it, the Browns don't need to be really in any hurry to get rid of him. He has a contract. If he's going to play, he's going to have to play with the Browns. And the last thing in the world you want to do is sit out an entire year. It worked out for Le'Veon Bell. I'm not sure that that's the way you want to do it if you're an NFL running back.
Yeah, Duke Johnson is certainly not in the Le'Veon Bell territory, as you mentioned there, Dave. He's not the same type of all-around threat in terms of running the football and catching the football. He's more of a niche player, but there's a spot in the NFL for niche players, and teams use them all the time. The Browns have tried to use Duke Johnson. It just hasn't materialized into as big a role as some hope. But, he's playing for his next contract. John Dorsey did give him his current contract, which is top 15 NFL running back money, which is good money, but he's still playing for another contract. And his situation, he feels like in Cleveland, is not going to provide him with the necessary stats to be able to justify some team giving him pretty good money again. So it's going to be interesting. I still don't know what way it's going to go, but I think it probably trends in the direction that Duke Johnson is not with the Browns in 2019.
Does it look like that's the type of thing that can be a distraction? Do you agree? The more it lingers on, if in fact, the Rosenhaus move is to try to force it, it just seems like that could become a problem.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that this is the only news we're really talking about, and the only news that we're talking about branching off of that is Baker Mayfield's reaction to it. And, I think Mayfield understands the importance of this year with the Browns and the weapons that they have, that they don't want any distractions. I still don't think that it was justifiable to talk about Duke talking about another person's money or Baker talking about Duke's money. That's not what he's doing. He's talking about those distractions that this whole thing is constantly bringing. It has been the only story that has really carried over from the beginning of the offseason to the end now. So I think the Browns would be best served in this situation. I had kind of thought, to be honest, Dave, that it was going to go away and they'd sort of mended that relationship through the end of minicamp, but it doesn't seem to be that way. And the Rosenhaus hiring is certainly news on the front of wanting to get out. So it is lingering, and I think the Browns would be best served to go into training camp without any guys who don't want to be in that building as they try to take a bunch of different personalities and sort of mend them into this team framework. It would be difficult to do if you have a guy who doesn't want to be in that building.
Well, let's shift gears a little bit. Baker Mayfield, what do you think he needs to do to be elite? Can he become one of the elite quarterbacks? What skill sets do you see? What has to happen for that?
I'm trying to write on issues and sort of how he corrects them to take his game to the next level, because it's going to be important for him to first eliminate mistakes, whether that's decision making and putting the ball into risky situations or being inaccurate. Like, he has a tendency to sail the ball over the middle sometimes. When he's working to his left side, he leaves the ball a little bit inside and can be baited. I think there are some times in his rookie year teams threw some intricate blitzes at him that he wasn't necessarily prepared for and didn't see some defenders. As things are swirling around you, quarterbacks are going to miss defenders dropping into zones occasionally, but you want to see him cut down on those things, sort of give his guys the best opportunity to win by hanging on to the football more. He was an efficiency guy at Oklahoma, so his 14 interceptions were on the high side of what I thought he would do. And, you think back to the Baltimore game, the interception that sealed that game was a turnover where he didn't see C.J. Mosley dropping into a zone. Mosley had sort of, feigned blitz there at the beginning and dropped into the passing zone there that Mayfield didn't see. So at the end of the day, he has to cut down on mistakes. He's got the weapons around him. Don't always feel like you have to force the ball downfield. Get the ball into people's hands underneath. Let them make plays for you. Keep the sticks moving. And those yardage things, the 4,500 yards, the 35, 40 touchdowns, those things will come naturally when you have as much talent as the Browns have. He just has to make sure he's using those guys to the best every snap, making the best decision in terms of throwing the football every snap, which is easier said than done. But the ability is there for him to do those things, take his game to the next level. But it's all about how many mistakes you make as compared to big plays. So he has to make sure to keep striving to cut down those negatively graded plays.
When you look at Mayfield, what do you see as the elite characteristics? So the characteristics that an elite quarterback has that he possesses, what do you see in that with Baker Mayfield?
Well, he's got better arm strength than people thought. I thought that coming out there were some narratives that his arm strength wasn't elite, and I think he has really positive arm strength. I think it's a big part of his game. He's unafraid to throw the ball into tight windows or take those throws that maybe some quarterbacks are too gun-shy to make, and he makes those throws with excellent anticipation. So I think he does see things the way he needs to see things, and that's a really positive trait for him in terms of being able to see things unfold before they happen. Also, a big trait that's great for him is his ability to step out, slide out of the pocket when threats come. He did a really good job of navigating the pocket, keeping his feet calm, stepping up, making throws, but also that getting out of the pocket. He was like the second greatest quarterback on throws outside the pocket in the league, only trailing Patrick Mahomes, who was the NFL MVP. So he was really impressive getting outside the pocket and making plays and throwing accurately on the run, which is a big deal. Being able to not get out of the pocket to run, put your body on the line, but instead keeping those eyes downfield and being able to find receivers who were working back in what's called the scramble drill. And that's where you saw that connection with him and Rashard Higgins come into play. And where you'll see Odell Beckham really thrive for him as well is giving Mayfield those options and using that elite accuracy when he gets out of the pocket to make those plays on the run. So if you got a guy who can make throws from the pocket, but can also really excel getting out of the pocket, making plays outside the pocket, you got a guy who can really do things at the NFL level, because things get chaotic. And, it's not always going to work out perfectly in the pocket. And if he's able to get out, slide out, and make throws accurately on the move, that's a big deal. And that's where I think he can be an elite quarterback, is both in and outside.
All right, Jake Burns, stick around. We're going to talk Browns positional players rankings in the NFL. Jake will be back with me on More Sports and Les Levine, the Weekend Winners Edition. Stick around. Browns are moving up the NFL rankings in position player rankings. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program has been recognizing role model students and teachers since 2007. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to OhioLottery.com. In the About section, find Supporting Education. There, you can nominate students in kindergarten through 12th grade as academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as the Teacher of the Month. Every school that participates is eligible for the School of the Year. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine. Welcome back to More Sports and Les Levine, the Weekend Winners Edition. Last segment, we talked a lot about Baker Mayfield. This segment, we're going to talk about the supporting cast, the guys around him, predominantly running backs, wide receivers, tight ends. Let's bring back Jake Burns from the Orange and Brown Report, a contributor here on cleveland.com. And Jake, the ESPN has ranked the top NFL arsenal, so skill position guys, independent of the quarterbacks. And the Browns are ranked third behind the Rams and Chiefs. It's important to note, 2017, they were 30th. Last year, 13th. So again, that speaks to the upgrade of this roster, I think.
Yeah, you can't deny the job that John Dorsey's done now in his 2 years, taking this offense up to 13th his first year, his first offseason heading into 2018, and then jumping it all the way up to third here, which is crazy. They're surrounded by the Chiefs at second, which are obviously loaded at skill position players there. And then I think the Eagles are just behind them at 4 and the Vikings at 5. So they're among the NFL elite, right? They are obviously loaded at the wide receiver position with 4 guys that can really make plays. I just kind of call them the big 4. I think those 4 are going to find the field often as long as all of them stay healthy. You have a top 5 receiver in Odell Beckham, a really predominantly effective slot receiver in Jarvis Landry, and then 2 guys on the outside, one just a steady all-around presence in Higgins, and then a top take the lid off the defense, Callaway, as that role player, sort of that Deshaun Jackson type guy maybe in the future for them, and they have big plans for him. So you really love all 4 of those wide receivers, they especially what they were able to do with Baker Mayfield without Odell Beckham. So you get those guys. Then you talk about a growing tight end in David Njoku, who just the other day turned 23, entering year 3, coming off a really nice second season, almost 700 yards. 4 touchdowns. He has big aspirations. I think he mentioned 20 touchdowns is his goal for this year. I'm not sure he's going to get there, but you got to respect the guy for trying to go out and get it. But yeah, then you talk about just those guys alone are impressive enough, and you mix in Demetrius Harris, who's a nice big secondary target, and Seth DeValve, who's shown, especially in his second year when he had nearly 400 yards receiving, that he can be a nice secondary tight end threat. Maybe sneak him into the backfield and play a little fullback with him. But then you talk running back, and you have 2 top 5 talents there, Nick Chubb, in my opinion, and you have another guy in Kareem Hunt will be there week 8, who's proven to be a really effective runner when he's been on the field as well. You know, Duke Johnson's future in the air, just as we were speaking to, but if he's counted as a part of this group, he's a really good pass-catching back out of the backfield, good change of pace. And, they go 3 deep, and some would consider 4 deep with Dontrell Hilliard, who in his short showings between weeks 9 and 17 had some catches, got out of the backfield, and did a little bit of the stuff that Duke Johnson does. So it's an impressive group, and it's one of the best in the league. It's all about how the offensive line is going to play in front of them as far as how this group will perform in 2019. I just put up the AFC North offensive line position rankings. I have them third. That doesn't mean they can't finish even higher. They came in preseason 20th according to Pro Football Focus, but they finished last year, I think, number 2 in their rankings, and they finished weeks 9 through 17 with only 5 sacks allowed and very minimal pressure. Group is the core that everybody really believes in with this team, and I think it will be important for the Browns to get those skill guys in the right positions, run the football against light boxes, and make the most of what should be one of the NFL's best core of talent around a quarterback.
Well, the questions about the offensive line, I think, are valid. You lost Zeitler, really good player, but you needed to do that to get Odell Beckham and, that whole trade with the Giants. So they're counting on some young guys to step up, but the one thing that you give him the benefit of the doubt, it's John Dorsey's been pretty good at identifying young talent in his time here, and really with the Chiefs as well.
Yeah, a lot of those guys there on the Chiefs roster, including Travis Kelce, Patrick Mahomes, are a big benefactor of the work that John Dorsey did in bringing those guys in. Tyreek Hill is obviously the same. I don't know what his status will be for this year, but he's a name that's considered there too as a part of Dorsey. And most of the Browns core, Antonio Callaway, running through to Odell Beckham's arrival, Jarvis Landry. John Dorsey did draft Baker Mayfield, obviously. He brought in he kept around Duke Johnson. That was one of his first signings upon taking his first offseason, kept Duke Johnson around, and he went out and signed Kareem Hunt. It's John Dorsey's, child here. How it all pans out is going to be dependent upon whether this group of different types of personalities that he's brought in can sort of find cohesion under Freddie Kitchens. But there is no denying that the guy has an eye for young talent. And, he's proven that he has some flaws. I think all GMs have some flaws, even across the league's best franchises. There are flaws in identifying some things, but that doesn't mean he can't find talent. And at the end of the day in the NFL, you just need talent. Some of those other exterior factors, coaching, for example, can come and go. So you need the talent to make it all work. It's the old theory of you can have X's and O's, but you need the Jimmies and Joes. And I think the Browns, for the first time in a long time, have those guys that can make a difference regardless of scheme.
Well, the other thing that's impressive about the skill position guys we talked about, they're all guys that are still trending up. They really haven't hit the prime of their career. So in theory, this is a core that could be together for a couple of years and really do some special things.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the group and you include Myles Garrett and Denzel Ward and some of those defensive guys. They're going to have some tough decisions to make with financials, but everybody's young. I mean, Jarvis and Odell are sort of your older two there, and they're just hitting 26, 27 in the real prime of their NFL careers. The same can be said for some of those guys like Kareem Hunt finding his stride now into year 3, and then you have the youngsters who are on rookie contracts, fortunately, like Nick Chubb and Rashard Higgins on the last year of his sort of rookie deal there. But yeah, I mean, it's a good mixture of guys in their prime, guys in the young end of their rookie contract. So they have to find, I don't know, I'm not good with financials, so they got to find a balance and figure all that stuff out, because there are going to be some tough decisions. And I will say this, Browns fans are going to have to get used to, homegrown talent that has to leave because they don't have enough cap space to keep it all around. They need to make sure to try to find a way to keep those important players, but it's going to be an adjustment period. Maybe seeing somebody like Rashard Higgins walk to another team because they can't afford him. Just an example there. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but it could happen. So it's going to be an adjustment. The good teams have to let talent walk occasionally because they draft really well, but you can't keep everybody in the NFL.
That is a great problem that Browns fans will love to have to deal with. Haven't had to deal with that for a while. Jake Burns, appreciate the time. Training camp getting underway in just a couple of weeks. We will, I'm sure, be talking again as we appreciate the insight of Jake Burns from the Orange and Brown Report.
Always appreciate it, guys.
All right, thanks, Jake. We appreciate it. Jake Burns from the Orange and Brown Report. You can also read him in the pages of cleveland.com. We're all out of time on this edition of More Sports and Les Levine, the Weekend Winners Edition. I'm Dave Bacon. Have a great weekend. Remember, Les Levine back in Monday night from 6 to 7 here on cleveland.com.